Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday. Oh, well, we are in June and oh my goodness, it is beautiful outside. It's warm and sunny where I'm at here in the Midwest anyway. So welcome for those that are new to me. My name is Angel Henry and I am your inclusive manager strategist as well as ceiling breaker. Why? Because I wrote the book Dents in the Ceiling: Tools Women and Allies Need to Break Through. I essentially serve two audiences. One for those VPs and HR directors and chief diversity officers that are out there that are doing the hard work at trying to create and cultivate and nurture an inclusive work environment. And you all are at various different places. Some of you are just starting, some of you got essentially awakened to some non-inclusive environments in the last 2 or 3 years and are trying to get that work off the ground. And others have done but still have a long ways to go and don't want to get tired. Can't get tired yet. We can't get tired yet. We still have a long way to go. So I am here to help and support you. And the second audience that I help are for women of color who are sitting in the seats of those various workspaces that are not yet inclusive. So I help with tips and tricks on how to navigate some kind of dicey, juicy, meaty discrimination, misogyny issues, all that for y'all. It's Filter Free Friday. Okay, so again, if you're not new here, it's Filter Free Friday. We are telling the truth. We are getting raw with what it's like in these workplaces in corporate America, nonprofit organizations, all over the place. And so one of the things that we're doing here for Angel Speaking for the month of June is celebrating diversity because it is the month of Juneteenth. And I'm all about celebrating Juneteenth with the appropriate celebration, the appropriate fanfare in terms of culture and food and festivities, but also with a whole heaping dose of learning. Okay. So last year, for those of you who were with me, we focused on the African American experience here in the US. Well, this June, I am focusing on those that are outside the US. So those from the Africa diaspora that live in the UK, for example. So last week we did Canada. Today we're about to dive into the UK. So real quick, it unfortunately is going to be a quick dive because it is all the same. Yes, yes. The research that I am finding, the people that I'm talking to, and the stories that I'm hearing are eerily similar to African American women's experience in the workplace in the US, as well as what we discussed last week in Canada. And then here we come with the UK, and it's all the same. I kid you not, right? The articles are all around microaggressions and disparities in pay. It just keeps going on and on and on. If you don't believe me, here's a couple. First up, Black women are missing in the C-suite, right? The top 1% earners in the UK have a distinct segment that are missing. The article says, how likely is it that women end up working in jobs that allow them to be among the top 1, 10, 20, 30% of earners? Well, drawing on the work from this particular survey called the Quarterly Labor Force Survey, the researchers found that Black women, regardless of whether they were from the UK or elsewhere, have the lowest probability of being top earners. But there's more. UK-born Black women were among the lowest. They had the least representation in the top percentile of income earners compared to all other women and men. So essentially, that little footnote down there is saying that UK-born Black women actually made less than Black women who lived in the UK but were from other countries. Eerily similar to the stats and the information that we found for Canada, as well as the US. Now, I personally read into that, bias, personal bias and discrimination are going off. Bells are going off in my head. But for the UK, and by the way, for America and the US, when it comes to health disparities, we didn't focus on that last week. But I would be remiss if I did not point out the health inequities that are extremely prominent in the UK for Black women there. So lots and lots of information around health inequities. But the one that was the most startling for me, or the one that kind of hit home for me, was around women in the UK that were of African descent, or again, Black, but born in the UK, when they were expectant, when they're pregnant, and they go to a hospital to deliver their babies. The overwhelming amount of statistical and anecdotal data around women not being treated with care, compassion, not being offered any pain medicine, being expected to go through the labor with little to no medicine or support or help, nurses and support staff being rude or ignoring the patient's wishes, heartbreaking stories of women who were saying something's not right, and just all out being ignored. And I just want to say that this hits home for me personally, because this happened to my cousin's wife right here in America, in DC. She was, turns out, hindsight being 2020, turns out she was experiencing preeclampsia, which is high blood pressure during pregnancy. And she knew that something wasn't right. She knew her body was off. And she kept calling her doctor and then when she finally did go to the hospital, and kept telling the nurses that she wasn't feeling was off. And they just kept excuse after, it's the medicine, oh, it's the side effects from the medicine, oh, it's because you're pregnant, so you're off, you don't feel good. And she just kept on it and on it, saying no, this is something different. They sent her home, and then a couple hours later, she was right back in the hospital for emergency surgery. And my little baby cousin was born almost a month late. God and baby are okay. But you do have to wonder, had they listened to her and they ran more diagnostic tests, could anything have been prevented, right? That's always the question that just will remain in a situation like that. Which then would, for medical staff, hey, listen to the patient, right? Like let's err on the side of caution. It can't hurt to run a couple of more tests if the patient is still complaining of pain or something not being right, just to be precautious. We'll do it in one case, but we won't do it in another. And in lies the issue. So those types of health stories, especially with Black women while pregnant, were extremely prevalent in the research that I did for Black women experience in the UK, which absolutely, if you are a VP or HR person sitting here listening to that, extrapolate, like just take a couple of more steps to realize how that absolutely impacts your workplace, right? Think about in that situation with my cousin and her child, her baby girl, she's going to be off work longer. That's going to absolutely impact her work schedule, right? If she has a premature or a child that has special needs or needs extra care, that is absolutely going to impact her timing and coming back to work, and the need for flexibility when she does return. as well as additional help and support that the organization, your company, can be offering her, given that situation, right? If you have a child with special needs, just dropping them off at the nanny, or whatever care you may have lined up to return back to work, is null and void if there's some special needs there and they need a particularly unique way, a unique person with special um, skill set to care for that child. And then you have to think too, of course, the emotional and mental well-being of a woman coming back into the workplace after having a negative traumatic experience like that. What mental health and emotional health and support and well-being will she need? And now you're hitting my space here. What can her supervisor, her direct supervisor, do to help support her as she comes back from such a traumatic event, right? Um, it's one thing to welcome back your employee when the birth of their child was smooth and healthy and they had a healthy bouncing baby boy or girl and all is cute and fine and right with the world. But supervisors are often very scared and apprehensive to even broach the subject, to even talk about with the parent, mother or father, when they come back into work, when the delivery did not go so well, when there were challenges and complications, when there may have been a traumatic situation that surrounded it. How does the supervisor engage their direct employee when that is the situation? Well, that's not something that they teach us in manager school. And I'm sure all of y'all know that. So again, that's where we come in with Angel Speaking. We are the ones that are going to tackle and address those little nuanced situations head on and get proactive with preparing managers, equipping them, giving them a toolkit of ways that they can engage their employees in an empathetic, authentic, real way, where they can elicit what help and support that they can provide that individual, so that the team is healthy, that they are healthy as can be, and work can still go on and folks can still be productive, right? So that's the name of the game. That's what we're all about here at Angel Speaking. So thank you. As we continue to journey on, we'll be focusing on yet another country next week. So be sure to tune back in here Fridays at 12:30 p.m. Eastern for Filter Free Friday. And don't forget to reach out to info@angelspeaking.com. Again, for those that have some last minute Juneteenth celebrations and you're looking for a speaker, a workshop, a keynote, my coaches would love to help support you. And I am also offering in-person on site for those women that are here in the Indianapolis area. We will be downtown at Maven Space in July for a mini VIP day. So you will get a half day session with yours truly to look at your specific career challenge or issue that you're having at work, whether it's around promotion, trying to get feedback. Again, all the things that come with trying to navigate a non-inclusive workspace, or managing a relationship with a supervisor who is not yet inclusive, has not yet gone through our training. There's a lot there to unpack. So sometimes you just need some help, like right here, right now, I need help with this situation. And that is what this, we'll call it career clinic will be for. So again, if you are in the Indianapolis area, please reach out to info@angelspeaking.com. We would love to send you over an interest form and see if you can join us for our half day mini VIP session. All right. With that, take care. Happy Friday. Be blessed.